PR Connections Radio presents
Hello, Golden Knights fans, and welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. And what a fantastic game it was last night as your Vegas Golden Knights defeated the San Jose Sharks 5-0 on the game at the Fortress at T-Mobile Arena. What an incredible game we will go over on Vegas Hockey Hub Recap. Go to PRConnectionsRadio.com. Check out all the content we have on there. We have a bunch of shows that are on the network, including Vegas Hockey Hub. So go to the website and check out all of the amazing content we have on PR Connections Radio. If you're on the YouTube channel for PR Connections Radio, I say welcome in. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, we have all of the amazing content on there, including Vegas Hockey Hub. So there is a bunch of content every single day up on the network, about a dozen shows. It's amazing, incredible. And if you're on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, we post content on there all the time. We upload our Vegas Hockey Hub recap shows, player profiles, you name it. We have it on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. We do shorts as well. So if you want to like this video and share it with all of your friends, we can do that as well on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. And then lastly, if you want to go to our social medias, we are everywhere at Vegas Hockey Hub. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are everywhere at Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you want to follow your host, I am right here at Ian Rachiele 18. I live tweet every single Golden Knights game. I like to engage and interact with our audience here on social media, on Twitter, at Ian Rachiele 18. So let's break down this game. Let's get into it as we have the Vegas Golden Knights, San Jose Sharks recap. And the great news that came out earlier before the game even kicked off, defenseman Zach Whitecloud returning to the it's early, folks. It happens. Zach Whitecloud returning to the starting lineup for your Vegas Golden Knights. What a good moment as he has missed the first 14 games of the season. Zach Whitecloud, who got injured in the first game of the preseason for your Vegas Golden Knights. He has recovered, and he is now fully healthy, and he is back in the lineup for the Vegas Golden Knights, playing against San Jose in his season debut against San Jose. So welcome back to Zach Whitecloud. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights, with him being brought back, had to send somebody down. And unfortunately, Caden Korczak, the young defenseman who has kind of been showing and impressing for the Vegas Golden Knights in a couple of games this year, he would be sent back down to the Henderson Silver Knights. So for Caden Korczak, a guy who currently this year for the Vegas Golden Knights, he had 1 goal and 4 points in 7 games this year for the Vegas Golden Knights. He had to get sent down to Henderson in response to Zach Whitecloud being brought back. And then the lineup change, very obviously, Zach Whitecloud being brought back to the third defensive pairing. Ben Hutton is still on there because of the injury to Nick Hague. And you have a former San Jose Shark in net for the Vegas Golden Knights against San Jose as Adin Hill faces his former team. And Adin Hill, what an incredible performance. We'll break that down later in the show. But Adin Hill, solid performance, shaking off the loss that he had against LA a couple of days prior. And Adin Hill doing a fantastic job, doing a good job for the Vegas Golden Knights. And if people are wondering, how is this game going to go? Because Vegas was on a 2-game losing streak heading into the game. San Jose Sharks were on a 2-game winning streak heading into the game. How would it go for Vegas? Well, it turns out Vegas Golden Knights were on all cylinders as not even 1 minute into the first period, Alex Pietrangelo with his first goal of the season for your Vegas Golden Knights, assisted by the captain, Mark Stone, and Michael Amadio to make it a 1-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. Alex Pietrangelo scoring his first goal of the season. Now, Alex Pietrangelo, of course, did miss some games this year. In fact, he has missed 5 games due to an injury. But it's actually incredible how it is his first goal of the season, considering Alex Pietrangelo last year, and some people forget about this, last year, Alex Pietrangelo had 11 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. So for him to have his first goal in his 10th game of the season for Vegas Golden Knights, it is actually abnormal from what he has done in the past, but still good for the Vegas Golden Knights that Alex Pietrangelo, first goal of the season for your Vegas Golden Knights, made it a 1-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then after a Ben Hutton penalty that was actually killed off, the Vegas Golden Knights would get back on the board as we're about halfway into the first period. Alec Martinez with his second goal of the season, assisted by, for the second time in the game, Michael Amadio and William Carrier. So it made it a 2-0 game, and Alec Martinez, welcome back. I mean, I know that he has had some injuries. He was actually out for the recent game. You had Kane Korzak take his place in the lineup. But yeah, when it came to Alec Martinez, he has missed a few games as well. But it definitely is nice to see Alec Martinez back in the lineup and scoring for your Vegas Golden Knights against the San Jose Sharks. Now, after the first period, you are up 2-0, and the energy and the momentum was definitely in the favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. There was a situation, San Jose Sharks had a puck go off his knee, and in fact, he had to go into the locker room and get checked out. He would be back in the game, but that was an interesting moment where he had a puck go off his knee, and he kind of was hobbled a little bit. He was going to feel it the next night. Definitely feel it the next day. And I will say for the Vegas Golden Knights, they started out strong. They did a very good job when it came to Vegas. And the second period, there actually was nothing that went on in the second period. There was no goals. There was no assists. There was nothing that really happened there. No penalties in the second period as well. To say that it was just 20 minutes of meh would be an understatement. However, for your Vegas Golden Knights, not letting up a goal in the second period was great. For San Jose, not letting up a goal was good for them. And after the end of the second period, the Vegas Golden Knights would be up 2-0 against San Jose. And here's where the action would start. In the third period, the Vegas Golden Knights, they would get this started. As after a tripping penalty on Braden McNabb against Mikael Gronlund, not even a minute later, oh man, the MVP of this year, I swear, William Karlsson with a shorthanded goal for your Vegas Golden Knights, assisted by Alex Pietrangelo, who scored earlier in the game, and Jack Eichel. So William Karlsson, his 8th goal of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights. And yeah, William Karlsson definitely has been the most valuable player this year. There was some people who about 2 or 3 years ago were saying that he might be let go. He might not be on the roster anymore. But man, he has definitely shut all that up after having 18 points already this year, with 8 of them being goals in 15 games. I mean, Mark Stone being the captain is definitely the most valuable player on the team. You know, he is the captain. He is the guy who leads that locker room. But outside of Mark Stone, William Karlsson has been the guy this year in Vegas. He's done a fantastic job. So William Karlsson to make it a 3-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. And it kept on going. It kept on going. As not even 2 minutes later, welcome back to the score sheet, Alec Martinez, as he scored his second goal of the game. Alex Pietrangelo with his second assist on the night. And William Karlsson getting an assist almost immediately after scoring a goal. Made it a 4-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. And, you know, I will say Alec Martinez, he only had 1 goal and 1 assist heading into tonight and doubled his points in just one game because of what he did tonight. So I will say for the Vegas Golden Knights, Alec Martinez, 2-goal performance. Alex Pietrangelo, a 2-point performance. William Karlsson, 2-point performance. Michael Amadio, 2-point performance. Man, the puck was just going everywhere. You had goals and assists for the Vegas Golden Knights. A very good game here in Vegas. And as we were getting towards the halfway point of the third period, you would have the final goal of the game as Brett Howden with his second goal of the season, assisted by Jonas Raunberg, and it would be a 5-0 game for the Vegas Golden Knights. They just dominated tonight. They just crushed it against San Jose. They were very good. Now, I have to mention the incident that happened late in the third period. So about 5 minutes left in the game. Jonathan Marchessault, there's a stoppage on the ice, and William Eklund, he gets pushed. He pushes Jonathan Marchessault. Well, Jonathan Marchessault doesn't appreciate it, so he punches William Eklund back. And then there's a huge scrum. Everybody gets involved. Jonathan Marchessault gets a roughing penalty against William Eklund and a cross-checking penalty against Fabian Zetterlund. And yeah, William Eklund, he got a roughing penalty. Marchessault gets a roughing penalty. Paul Cotter had to go to the box because Marchessault had 2 penalties, so Cotter had to serve one of them. And yeah, it was definitely an interesting moment. Kind of reminded you that, yes, even though San Jose is not as good as they have been in the past, San Jose is still a major rival to Vegas. So that definitely was a key moment in this game, as you had the Vegas Golden Knights and San Jose Sharks have a little mini scrum after Eklund and Marchessault both get roughing penalties against each other. And yeah, I will say with Marchessault and Eklund is definitely a moment that we're going to remember. And the buzzer would sound the last 5 minutes. There would be no penalties, no goals, nada, as the Vegas Golden Knights would pick up the win against San Jose, a 5-0 win for the Vegas Golden Knights. And your Vegas Golden Knights are just on a roll right now. Like, it seems like when they get everything on pace, when everyone is clicking, when everyone's on the same page, Vegas is near unstoppable. And you could say near unstoppable because of what the record is. The Vegas Golden Knights are 12-2-1. They have 25 points on the year. There is no team in hockey that has the same record as the Vegas Golden Knights. There is no team in hockey that's even on the same level as Vegas right now. I know people in the East Coast are going to say, what about Boston? Hey, Boston's doing pretty good as well. I'm not going to take it away from them. But Vegas right now has been the dominant team in the NHL. I mean, if you don't believe me, Vegas has a plus differential. They're of 26. They're 8-1 at home. They're 4-1 on the road. I mean, this is a team right now who has been outperforming their opponents left, right, and center. And outside of the LA game, you really haven't had a bad loss for Vegas. The Chicago game was in overtime. The Anaheim game was a great first two periods. Then the last period, it went off the rails. But yes, this game just seems like this whole season, all 15 games, 14 of the 15 games, Vegas has been in it. It has been competitive. It has been a challenging moment for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I will say, when it comes to Vegas Golden Knights, I like what they have done. I like what we're seeing from them. And there definitely is some good stuff going on with your Vegas Golden Knights. And the player of the game has to go with the goalie who did a shutout, and that is the former San Jose Shark, now Vegas Golden Knight, and Adin Hill. Adin Hill stopped all 20 shots on net, and he was just incredible on the game. He was making save after save after save. He was the reason why Vegas earned a shutout. Adin Hill was a huge part of that. And unlike the LA and Anaheim games where they look sluggish, oh man, the Vegas Golden Knights looked energetic, all right? They seemed like they were just ready to go, like boot, scoot, and boogie. The Vegas Golden Knights were ready to go from the puck drop. And I like that. I like how the Vegas Golden Knights shrugged off the sluggishness, the, lethargic actions they've had the last two games. So for Vegas to be clicking like they did against San Jose, I like to see it. And really the last note that we're going to mention real quick is how the defense is almost at full strength. Nick Hague is the only player right now who is not on the ice defensively. So you have Zach Whitecloud. He is back. Now you have Pietrangelo and Martinez. That's line 1. McNabb and Theodore. That's line 2. The Vegas Golden Knights just have to wait for Nick Hague to come back. Because once you get him back, you essentially have your 3 defensive pairings back in Vegas. That's what I mean by they're almost at full strength. Your 6 defensemen that you have to have in Vegas are almost back. All of them are. And speaking of the forwards, Chandler Stevenson, he has been out for the last 2 games. We will see if he comes back for the 5-game road trip that Vegas is expected to have starting next week. Nick Watt, he has been out for a while. We'll see if he will be back on a 5-game road trip. Because your Vegas Golden Knights, your forward lines have been a bit funny to look at. They've been interesting to see. Because William Carrier, who's normally a 4th-line winger, being on the 2nd line with Stone and with Amadio. Like, that's a line I don't think anybody expected heading into the year. Mark Stone, Michael Amadio, and William Carrier. And then you have the William Karlsson, Paul Cotter, and Pavel Dorofeev line, which has done pretty well, I will say. Paul Cotter and William Karlsson have solid chemistry. And then you have Jonas Raunbjerg, and you have Brett Howden and Keegan Kolazar on your 4th line in Vegas. And one credit I have to give Bruce Cassidy, by the way. One credit that I have to say is that he has found a way to build chemistry on all lines. The first line, Eichel and Marchessault have been together for the last year and a half. They know what they're doing. The second line, Mark Stone is now doing pretty well with his lines mates. Regardless if it was Amadio, Stevenson, Howden, Cotter, now dealing with Carrier. It seems like regardless of who his line mates are, Mark Stone, being the captain that he is, brings out the best in his line mates. And then William Karlsson on the bottom 6, being a middle 6 forward on line 3. He is nailing that role. This is a William Karlsson who first, when he got to Vegas, was a first-line center. Now he's on the 3rd line. And some people look at that as a demotion. A good portion of people will look at that as a demotion. But William Karlsson has taken it as a challenge. Not only has he taken it as a challenge, he has broken through that challenge. Like I said, 18 points in 15 games. He's averaging more than a point per game for Vegas. And I said earlier in the show that you can make a valid argument that Mark Stone or William Karlsson are the MVPs of this year. Like the first 15 games, the team MVP is Karlsson or Stone. Now, I will lean towards Mark Stone just because of how much better he makes his teammates. How when Mark Stone is on the ice, he makes his teammates better. You can tell that his line mates, that when he is on the ice, he makes his teammates better. The way he plays, his hockey IQ, the way he presents the game itself, his leadership skills, his quality of performance on the ice. Mark Stone would be my candidate. But if you said William Karlsson, I will not disagree with you because you have a valid point. So as we are seeing the Vegas Golden Knights currently 15 games into the year, here's what the stats look like for your Vegas Golden Knights at this point. So, breaking down the first line. Ivan Barbashev, 4 goals, 5 points in 15 games. Now, Ivan Barbashev has been the weak link on the first line. In fact, you have had Chris from Vegas Hockey Now. He has made an article about it. I agree completely. Very stand-up guy, by the way. He knows hockey. He knows what he's talking about. And Ivan Barbashev, only 5 points in 15 games. It is underwhelming. I will say Ivan Barbashev was expected to do better based off the contract that he got. Jonathan Marchessault, 6 goals, 9 points in 15 games. Look, Jonathan Marchessault is doing what he is supposed to do. He is putting the puck in the back of the net. There really isn't much else you can ask from a guy like Jonathan Marchessault. And then Jack Eichel, 6 goals, 9 assists for 15 points in 15 games. He is a top 20 player in hockey. So there's no doubt that he is averaging a point per game. It is expected of a top 20 player to average a point per game. And Jack Eichel is definitely doing that. Line 2, and I'm just going to do the normal one, all right? Line 2, Mark Stone with 4 goals and 14 points in 15 games. So Mark Stone almost averaging a point per game. You also have to mention that Mark Stone has had 4 points on the power play and 2 shorthanded goals on the year. So Mark Stone has been efficient when on the power play or on the penalty kill. Good job for him. Chandler Stevenson, despite missing a few games, has 2 goals and 10 points on the year. So Chandler Stevenson not scoring a lot of points, but is racking up assists, and I can appreciate that. And then you had Brett Howden. And Brett Howden, 2 goals, 4 points, and 21 penalty minutes. He is averaging well over more than a penalty minute per game. Now, some people are going to expect that from Brett Howden, especially if you watch the player profile we did on Brett Howden here on Vegas Hockey Hub. I explained that this is some part of his character. He is somebody that stands up for his teammates. He defends his teammates. So 21 penalty minutes on the year is expected, but 2 goals and only 4 points as a middle 6 forward, that is a bit suspect. On the third line, we already mentioned William Karlsson, 8 goals and 18 points. He is just doing a fantastic job, phenomenal job for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then you also have Paul Cotter. And Paul Cotter, I feel like, doesn't get enough respect outside of Vegas. 3 goals, 6 points in 15 games, but his defensive ability has been good. The way he does on the forecheck, on the back check, the way he is physical on both ends of the ice is appreciated. Paul Cotter does an amazing job defensively, and he doesn't get enough respect on that. So Paul Cotter has done a stand-up job. So despite the 6 points in 15 games, what he is doing defensively makes up for it. And then you also have Michael Amadio, 2 goals and 8 points in 15 games. He does have a plus 12, though. I will acknowledge that. He does have a plus 12. Now, Michael Amadio, being a middle 6 forward, it makes sense. Like I said, with William Karlsson racking up all these goals, Michael Amadio was normally the guy dishing him the puck for a good portion of those goals, so it does make sense. And then on line 4, you have William Carrier, who has had 3 goals in 12 games. William Carrier last year had a career high in goals. I said, watch out, he might try to replicate that. And so far, William Carrier is doing a close enough job to that. He had 16 goals in 56 games last year, 3 goals in 12 games. So watch out for William Carrier. He might get double digits again in goals. At center, you had Nick Waugh. Now, we understand what happened to Nick Waugh. He's only played 7 games this year. But hey, 4 points in 7 games. Not bad for Nick Waugh. And then Keane Kolesar. Look, Keane Kolesar, 1 point in 15 games. 14 penalty minutes in 15 games. Well, Keegan Kolazar is not expected to light up the lamp. He has never really been that guy. So I'm not going to sit here and overanalyze and or hate Keegan Kolazar for only having 1 point in 15 games. Because frankly, that's not what he does. I mean, last year he had 18 points in 74 games. So looking at a guy like Keegan Kolazar, he is not expected to score a lot of points. So I will say for Keegan Kolazar, I'm not surprised by it. Now, the first line defense. Alex Pietrangelo, who had his first goal of the season against the San Jose Sharks, 9 points in 10 games, a little under a point per game. I mean, Alex Pietrangelo has been arguably the second best defenseman on the team. If it wasn't for a certain somebody we're going to talk about later, he would be the best defenseman on this team. But yeah, Alex Pietrangelo, one of the best two-way defensemen. He does good offensively. He does good defensively. It is good to see Alex Pietrangelo. 8 points in 10 games. Then you also have his line mate in Alec Martinez, who had 2-goal performance, 4 points in 10 games. Now, Alex Martinez, one of the best shot blockers in all of hockey, and he definitely takes up those shots throughout the entire season. Speaking of somebody who does take shots and does block shots, Brayden McNabb with 7 points in 15 games. Now, I'm going to be biased because he is my favorite player on the Vegas Golden Knights, but a plus 13 for Brayden McNabb. Incredible job. In fact, he has the best plus-minus on the entire roster. And Brayden McNabb has just been a stand-up guy. All 7 years he has been in Vegas, an incredible player, good athlete. And yeah, Brayden McNabb has done a stand-up job this year. 7 points in 15 games, all of them assists. Brayden McNabb, stand-up job. And then beside him, you have the best defenseman on the Golden Knights this year, Shea Theodore, 12 points in 15 games, 3 of them being goals on the year. I mean, Shea Theodore has been the best guy on this team. I mean, Shea Theodore has been able to take his opportunities and he nails it time in and time out. This is why when it comes to Alec Martinez and Alex Pietrangelo, yes, they're currently the first-line defensemen, but I wouldn't be shocked if eventually Shea Theodore becomes the full-time first-line defenseman, first defensive pairing here in Vegas. And then the last defensive pairing, I'm not going to talk about Zach Whitecloud. He's only played 1 game. But Nick Hague, 3 points in 10 games, has 14 penalty minutes in 10 games, however. So Nick Hague definitely using up his body and somebody who's willing to drop the gloves. We have been able to see that. And then you had Ben Hutton. And Ben Hutton has been 2 points in 10 games. He's not flashy. He's not something that everyone's going to be amazed at, but he gets the job done. He's reliable. He's a consistent veteran. And the other 2 defensemen I do have to quickly mention, Kaden Korczak, 4 points in 7 games, and Brandon Bahal with 1 goal in 12 games. So your Vegas Golden Knights, 15 games in, has done a good stand-up job. And we are definitely going to talk more about that on later shows here on Vegas Hockey Hub. In fact, at certain points of time, we're going to be doing this on the show, breaking down the stats for your Vegas Golden Knights players at certain points throughout the year. So this was our Vegas Hockey Hub recap show. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and the Vegas Golden Knights defeat the San Jose Sharks 5-0, and they improved to 12-2-1 on the season. And until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. We're going to be doing the Alec Martinez player profile tonight at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Central. So mark your calendars for that one. And until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. Continue watching hockey. Go support junior hockey. And go Knights, go!
PR Connections Radio presents